And welcome back to a new episode of Breaking News. And it is indeed breaking news on the health situation of our global situation. Yeah. So whatever. Let's have a look. Today I want to talk about in this stream about the potential of a vaccine giving us new all-time highs. Now let's rewind a little bit. A couple of months ago, an unprecedented health situation just brought the market way down, the fastest crash that we ever have seen in history. But then we recovered almost like a V shape, and we are not clear yet if this V shape will stand by or we will see again lower levels from here. However, obviously one of the big points here is the Federal Reserve just keep on printing a lot of money and putting this into the market, which helps the market obviously, but also we see that good news for the whole health situation is pumping up the markets. Obviously, if lockdown eases, this shows that people can go outside, spend their money, go to work. The economy is restarting, right? But there's even a more, maybe a biggest factor that everybody looking at right now. Where is the vaccine? Where is the end of the tunnel that we are currently in economically and financially, right? Because this will definitely give like an unprecedented huge push to the market. And I want to show you something. So this kind of breaking news are all about, we see this almost every single day. FDA gives emergency authorization for tests. We see Moderna shares surge after FDA approves coronavirus vaccine for phase 2 trial, So we see this breaking news on all this new medicaments. Also, Gilead Science is a huge benefiter with their remdesivir drug that should help patients out there. But is this already the beginning of the end? Now I want to dive with you just in a matter of a couple of minutes, just 6 minutes, into something that, how usually this process looks like and what is the current hottest candidate. Let's start with the hottest candidate. It's the Oxford vaccine research, and the Oxford University just did the Ebola vaccine, which is a very similar virus to the virus that we currently have now, but they are having like a candidate that I have to now over months to test. And there's an Indian company, the Prince of Vaccines, how they call him. He is in the mass manufacturing business of vaccines, and he is currently producing this candidate already and thinks that by September or October he should have 40 million pieces of vaccine doses. But obviously this is high risk because these trials usually take long of time, and also we don't know the long-term effect on these vaccines, actually you should be very cautious because this vaccines is some very difficult topic. Let's have a look how this kind of FDA is usually split it up. So we have a couple of phases. So you always will read in the news, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. As you can see, the clinical process usually takes 5 to 15 years, guys, okay? So we have the preclinical phase exploring if and how a new drug may work. Then we have the drug approved for human testing. Then we have the phase 1 exploring safety and dosing of the drug, phase 2 exploring the effectiveness of the drug, then phase 3 exploring the safety and effectiveness compared to currently available treatments, then submit to FDA for approval. Then FDA reviews all the results out of the 3 phases to confirm safety and effectiveness of the drug, and then the drug is approved. And then we have phase 4 where we evaluate the whole large and long-term effects of this drug, right? This is like long studies of the drug, then later on with some patients and everything. And then you have also, this graphic is very interesting because it shows us a little bit, it gives us a little bit more of an insight into this phases of potential candidate. So you have phase 1, which is 20 to 80 participants, up to several months, studies the safety of the medication and treatment, 70% success rate. Then you have 100 to 300 participants, up to 2 years, studies the efficacy, and it's like a 33% success rate. And then you have the phase 3, which is 1,000 to 3,000 participants, which is 1 to 4 years, studies the safety, the efficiency, and the dosing, 25 to 30% success rate usually. And also then the phase 4, which is like the final phase, and thousands of participants, and 1 year duration, studies the long-term effect. This is actually phase 4 is after the drug got released to people, okay? And then studies the long-term effectiveness, cost effectiveness, and so on, 70 to 90% success rate. Now, as you can see, this process is usually very, very long, but obviously now, as this is a global problem, a huge problem for our economy and for their life, people and governments try to push this forward, and therefore you see, Trump said this from the very beginning, from the very first meetings, where he said, I will make sure the FDA will approve more and more drugs, and will have more and more trials, and to see that this phase 1 to 2, from 2 to 3 will be very, very fast in process, okay? Faster than ever seen before. Also, I think since the very first virus hit us, like something like SARS or other viruses, I think the whole technology got also better. Then I saw this in one article in CNBC, I think by Kevin, some big investor said that the AI is very, very much more advanced than it was a couple of years ago. So we could see vaccines potential and candidates very, very early, and this can be a much faster process than it was a couple of years ago. But we see how important that is, and it can be still from now on a very long process, guys, okay? So it can be that we will have the first good news maybe in September or October. And what I personally do, and this is a great investment tool, I will show it to you right now, is Google Alerts. So you just go in Google and type in Google Alerts, monitor the web for interesting new content, and then you actually can put, for example, I have here 2 alerts, which is one Oxford vaccine, and the other one was the remdesivir that I put in a little bit earlier. And these are 2 news that I then get every day or every other day, doesn't matter. It depends on my on my settings here, but you can say, vaccine trials, and then you can create the alert, and then they will inform you maybe once a day or twice a day or whatever, depending on your settings, when some breaking news are there. So you will be very much on the first people that get this news. I think this is great. Totally free of charge investment tool. Also works for other companies, for example, smaller companies, very, very small companies. If you invest in them, it's hard to be always on top of the news. So just type in those names, leave the Google alerts, and whenever there's a news out there or important news out there for this company, you will directly get an email, and you are super fast informed about this kind of for the development of the company or of their product and so on. So I think it's great to follow in this way, and it can be a long time ago, and I think it can be have a short-term effect when we see, a vaccine candidate now had positive news, but it still take months after that. See, the company in India will have 40 million by September or October. So this means that most of it mostly will stay in India, I guess, and there's some billions of people, and you will see more and more vaccine centers making the same, but it will take at least until summer or next winter 2021 to have most of us worldwide vaccine. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Thank you very much for watching, as always.